So whenever I take notes, everything is from like a visual aspect. So it's like how something looks or how something's done. So I just want to point that out before I say anything. So if there's like anything like the character's wants or needs, or like more on the psychological side, I would just go to YouTube, because I mean that's not really my realm. And I feel like there's a lot of YouTubers that do a better job at like doing like a whole analysis and all that. So whenever I'm taking notes of the manga, like everything is just for visual. There's just like the visuals that are in here. And I'll show some just to show like the notes that I made. So I would say that it heavily depends on what you're wanting to learn or what you're working on. Because so for the first one, I just put fire, BG, so just background. And whenever I would make notes, because a lot of the stuff was very repetitive, I would just use like acronyms. So instead of putting background, just put BG, just do it quick, because that was one thing that I constantly was working on. And because one of the characters can like manipulate fire, that's why I just liked how, crap, I was like off the page. That's why I like just the way it was done. So if somebody was doing like a romance manga, I don't even know why they'd be reading this, because like as a reference it's kind of off because like all the fighting. But if somebody was like, maybe it was like a scientific, this page probably wouldn't matter if it was more like on the sci-fi side. So it just depends on what you like, what you're looking for, if it relates to your manga. And so there's like no perfect way to take notes. It just depends on if it helps you on what you're doing. And let me go to another one. So like with this one, it says no background. And like I mentioned, a lot of these are gonna mention background, because that's just something I was like really working on. And I liked how like it had nothing at all. And for me at the time, this was new, because all the manga that I've come across, there's always a background. So what I took away from this is that because of like Sukuna, I forgot this guy's name, but because pretty much he was about to die, it kind of like fit what was happening. So to me, it was like, if you have like the right situation, then having like a blank background is perfect. And of course, there's like numerous situations, like if somebody's really sad, or if they feel isolated, if they're like clueless, and they're kind of like, huh, kind of feels like going, if he's like, I don't know what just happened. So I mean, there's like a lot. So as long as it connects with what you're trying to say, like, it's perfect. And of course, that was because oh boy was about to die. So like with this one, I don't have any notes. And of course, I didn't do it on every single page. But if you're like, a perfect opportunity, if you're learning to shade, it would be like put a little sticky note and you can put shade. Or if you want to go more in depth, you can get like one of the fast sticky notes, and you can go like full in detail on the shading and make whatever notes. So I mean, there's no like perfect way to do it, like whatever helps you. So if you want to get a little block of like the sticky notes and put it there and then go in depth, like do that. Because the only thing that matters is it helping you with what you want to do. Because everybody's going to have different things they want to work on or they want to try. And let me go to another one. So I go this one. It says background fade. And let me go to another one. It's a little bit bigger. So like this one is the background fade. And the reason I put the note for this one is because below the eyes, there's like no background. And the reason I really like that is because with backgrounds, I was like, so how can I've noticed that like Chainsaw Man does it too. And they do it to where it'll fade. And I was like, how is it that they can do that and it looks like natural? Like it looks good. And I kind of noticed that like, because most of the body is covering the lower half, then whenever it fades, like you really don't like think about it. Like it just naturally fits. So that's why I put that there. And there's other panels that do that, and I like that because that way I don't have to overthink about backgrounds, and it'll also save me time. because whenever you're drawing like the lower parts of like if it's a street, a building, or a bridge, then the bottom tend to have like a lot of detail because it tends to have a lot of details because it'll be like grass, or if it's like the cracks, and then just focus on the shade. So this one I put out of panel, and I was looking at the camera, make sure it's on the screen. The reason I put outside panel is because I was kind of thinking of like, because with a lot of manga, like there's a lot of panels to where like the character is stepping outside the panel, and this would just give me like an idea, like if somebody's fighting, what's a cool way to do that? So that's why I took that note. And same thing with this one. Like I said, like there's no perfect way to do notes. It's just whatever you're working on, what you want to learn. And with this one, like, you know, some notes you could put would be like speed lines. It could be the background fade, or I guess more like a building fade, as you can see right there. It could be right there, the little action. I don't know what you call them, but whenever there's like impact. And same thing with this one, it can be outside a panel. Go to another one. Same thing with this one. Like this would have been like background fade. You see how right there, there's like no detail at all. I'm pretty sure there was a note there. I think I took it out. I don't know why. So this one says no background, and I thought this was cool. And I've seen that Akutami does this on a couple occasions, to where like if there's like a deep, like sincere, pretty much somebody's about to die, or something really sad, he'll do it to where the person's talking, he'll continue the conversation, but it'll be blank. Like I mentioned, whenever it's blank, it's like it gives you opportunity if there's like something like some reflection before somebody dies, or like the last words. And I think it's pretty cool how he does that. And also, whenever you start working on a manga panel, you start to realize that a lot of work goes into each of the panels. So just knowing that you can do this and continue like the flow of the story, and it doesn't like throw it off, saves you a lot of time, and it's pretty cool. So this one, same thing, how the background fades, the action lines, and like same, see where it says background, what's it, Imagine? I can't, it says background fade. I don't know what that second one says. I don't know. But I like how like in the center there's like nothing. All there is like that whatever Mahito's in, and then like the top of the building, or the top of the like the room they're in. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool how like same thing, like I was trying to find ways to where how can I let it look, how can it work well, and then just save time from doing stuff on the background. So it says outside panel, no background. So I thought that was pretty cool, because I mean that pretty much explains it, to where it's not actually in a panel and it's on the page, and the way like these other panels like overlap, and just like I said, if there's anything cool that you like, you can put little notes, keep it simple, or you can just go crazy and get one of them fat sticky notes. Like I said, it's gonna be different for everybody. Like this one is pretty cool. Like I said, even then, excuse me, even then here, trying to burp. Even like here, I think it's super cool, like how the background is done, right there, the little lines. Like I said, if you're working on shading, my bad. If you're working on shading, you put a note for the shading. Like this right here is super cool. How it kind of just, it's only his face, and then the rest of the background. So you can put a note for that because it focuses on his page because there's no background. For this one, you could put the action lines. You can put the I don't know what to call it, like the impact visual. If you're working on sound effects, you can put a note for that. Right here, same thing. I'm constantly looking at the camera just to make sure it's in there. So right there, it could be the action lines, the sound, how it goes over the panels. Like that makes kind of like a smooth transition. It's pretty cool. Right there, same thing. You can put a note and say impact visual, and that way whenever there's like some kind of contact, just give a better idea of how to change stuff. Right there, the note could be sound effect outside of panel. Right there, I think it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, super easy. Like, I mean, obviously it takes time to do draw the face and the hands, but like all it is she's just standing there, and then she says hairpin, sound effect, boom, and the next page. And then like right there, the background fades. So what's pretty cool is like they just find like these manga artists, especially him and Fujimoto, they find ways to where they can make it interesting to where they don't have to actually draw a background, but they give you like some kind of information with like negative space. And a negative space is just space that is being used. And they use it in a way to where they don't have to draw a crazy background. Because trust me, it takes a lot of time. Let's do a couple more. So, background fade. Background side fade. So with this one, I thought it was pretty cool because it's like, so Yuji's in the middle, he's in the center, and on the left side you have the background, and on the right side it just fades. And I thought it was pretty cool because whenever you read from manga, it's from right to left. And I just liked how there's like this smooth, that's probably a little bit just being extra, but yeah, I just thought it was pretty cool how like just the way it looks. So it just gave me another idea. So pretty much all these are is pretty much if you have like a tool bag, kind of like, you know, if you're a plumber, you have a tool bag and you have all these tools. Like there's no one way to do backgrounds. There's no one way to do fight scenes, action scenes, how to do sound effects, onomatopoeias. That's a fancy term for sound effects. So see like right here where there's the text, and out of nowhere, text, no background. Like it just adds like the emphasis, just like what's happening in the moment. And then like that, pretty cool, like just how the background is right there. All it pretty much is like the screen is black, there's white dots, speech bubbles, text. So just like that for me, it was pretty cool. Same thing here, no background, no background. How like zooms in, it focuses on the face. And if you watch any movies by like Tarantino, you notice like in dramatic moments he does that, and that's something that I do. So I'm pretty sure eventually like some people probably get pissed because I do it a lot. But I mean, that's one thing I've taken a lot of notes with Fujimoto. And of course I'll do video about Chainsaw Man and like his other manga some other day, but for now like I'm doing this. But I like that too, like just the dramatic zoom in. Same thing, no background, just text. Same thing. Like right here, like if you're working on how can I do fight scenes that are pretty cool, how can I make it more dynamic, you could take notes. So it could be how it looks like there's two Yujis, how he's down, he's up. You take another note because the action lines, I don't know if that's what we really call them. You can take notes on how Mahito is reacting to the punches. You can take notes on the shading. Take notes on the way the hand is. Like there's no actual fist; it's just like lines, and that just makes like look like he's moving really fast. Right there, you can take a note of. He's gonna ass whoop. It's a simple note, just put ass whooping. Right there is pretty cool because of how there's like the ground and like how like the lines are coming in. So like I said, it's anything. Like if there's anything where it's like, holy crap, this is really cool. Just get a little note, whatever. If you want to write an acronym like BG or fight, or if you want to go crazy with it, like do that. Everybody's gonna be different. Everybody's gonna look at different things, and there's different things that they want to play. They're manga, so like anything that looks interesting, just jot it down. And then if it's something that continuously happens, and you want to save time, you can start using acronyms, which is what I did, and that's why a lot of them, they mostly just say background fade, because there's different ways to go about it. Like this one, no background, so it's pretty much Yuji, he's screaming. The way speech bubbles are is pretty cool, so that could be another note. The, I guess, action lines right there, that's pretty cool because there's no background, and because of that, and I'm not, I've known, I can't even talk. And I've gotten a lot of shit for that. Just people saying, some people saying that I just don't use enough background, blah, blah, this and that. And I think if you use it in the right way, it can really add a lot to what's happening in the moment. So I feel like if there's like a background, it wouldn't be as intense. But because there's no background, the only thing your mind is picking up is there's a hand, there's a face, and because there's shading, the way her eyes are, just her emotions, like adds more to what's happening. Like, oh crap, like something's really gonna happen. So like I said, like anything that seems pretty cool, or if you're like, how do they do that, or just anything, like. So that's pretty much, let me get another one quick. Poop. Oh. So this is volume 17. Oh, this one, I really didn't take that much notes. Same thing, background. The background, the way like the lines are. Pretty sure these are all gonna say background. Like that'd be pretty cool. No background, the way the lines are. That would be a cool note. This one, how like the background it's just black, and because like the night, that's pretty cool. So this one, for speech bubbles, instead of writing speech bubbles, I would just pretty much draw a circle and then like an arrow. And I thought it was pretty cool how like there's no background at all. It's just black, the text. Like I said, same thing. It just adds like more emotion to what's happening. This one, background, I thought it was pretty cool how... oh crap, my bad. I thought it was pretty cool how like there was this like hexagon screen tone and it fades. There's like a fade to it. So it could be any kind, like it could be thicker screen tones, it can be hexagon, triangle, something with like sharp edges to where it adds emotions. Or I mean, if you don't want to use the circle screen tones, I mean that would be fine. And like this one, there's no background, it has a text. If you're a strong kid, so help people. I didn't take notes here, but I mean, there's, like I said, this one, if you're trying to get better at adding more details, the notes could be lines, the notes could be shading, the notes could be like the background, how it kind of like fades. So for this one, same thing, it could be notes, it could be shading, it could be how, this is actually pretty cool, how she's centered, and then the background is black, as if there's like a panel. I mean, it is a panel, but just the way it's set, and like the speech bubbles, and then you have this right there, where it's like they're isolated. That's pretty cool. That could be a note. Like I said, if there's like some kind of isolation, that tends to work perfectly for that, those kind of moments. See, like this is pretty cool. No background. You got Toji. So this will be perfect for like if you're working on shading, If you're working on the backgrounds, whenever you're looking down, so I guess like down, up. If you're working on proportions of the face, that'd be good. That would be good. This one would be good if you're working on drawing like action poses to where they're like moving a lot. Same thing with that one. Same thing with like the action lines, so you get a better idea on like where do they come from. And of course, there's different ways of doing that. Like with this one, as you goes like horizontal. See, like with this one, it's like the way the action lines are, and of course there's like different ways to where you can start from. So that's pretty cool. And like this one, it's pretty cool how it's like a double spread. The hand goes beyond the panel. There's a black background, and then it kind of like fades. I guess from here like fades out. The blood, the shading, it could be notes on the lines, how it zoomed in, like the zoom in. I think it's pretty cool. Like I said, whenever I do that, I get shit on for doing that. Right here's pretty cool. A note could be the shading, the action. You can't see his face, but there's like all these lines to show how dynamic it is. The sound effect, the action lines or speed lines. I think they're called speed lines. Whatever. Like right here, there's something that Fujimoto does a lot, to where it's like she's looking, her emotion starts to change, and then boom. So it's like a gradual movement of whenever, and when Chainsaw Man I do this a lot, whenever there's like this progression of the panels, it kind of like feels keyframes. Then I'll just put keyframes. That'll be my note, and then yeah, I mean I'll just, whatever was happening, kind of just take note of what was happening. Then the last page. So yeah, when it comes to notes, like there's no one way to do it. Just whatever you're working on. Like I said, if you're working on a manga where it's like the girl can like control water, and you come across a chapter where there's like a lot of water fight scene stuff, like if it's like My Hero Academia with the guy that he can do ice. And if you're trying to learn about stuff with like ice, then you can take a lot of notes about that. So everybody's doing different stories and fighting and all that. So the most important thing, so there's no one way to do it. The only thing that matters is, are you taking notes that are going to benefit your story? And if you go through manga, like it doesn't have to look like that. Like it can be to where there's 2, there's 3, there's 40 or whatever. So that's all that matters. Like as long as you're learning and you're improving, then you're good. Like there's no one way to do something. Like action lines, speech bubbles, backgrounds, onomatopoeias. Not every background has to have crazy detail. The way that the speed lines are done, the way shading is done, the way just whatever. Like there's no one way to do something. Anything you do is going to be criticized if you don't have enough backgrounds, if you zoom in too much, if you zoom out, if it looks like you're copy and pasting panels, which Fujimoto, it's like anything you do, like somebody's gonna shit on it. So just do something that connects with your story, and that's all that matters. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like as long as you're happy with what you're doing, I mean, and of course there's like, I don't know, I feel like this is gonna lead to another video, but yeah, so I hope that was helpful. And like I said, you can do basic notes, they can be complex, you can do square ones. And I got these from Walmart. I'm pretty sure any store where they sell paper, you can get these. Or you can go on Amazon, just Google sticky notes. They can be this, they can be fat. If you want to get a little journal and if you want to write chapter or volume 14, chapter 3, page 14, panel 1. Like you can do that too. I just don't do that because I'm lazy, so I just try to find the easiest way. And I mean, if you wanted to, because maybe sticky notes weren't big enough, you can just write your note, go crazy with it, tear the page out, put it right there as a bookmark, and then have it to where like the manga is just like looks like it's swollen because all the paper coming out. Like you could do whatever. You could write in it. You can if you want to use markers, if you use like a micron pen, like it doesn't matter. The only important thing is that you're learning, because I mean these manga authors like Dave, like him, Fujimoto, Togashi, like they all have been assistants, so they've learned from like professionals. And with manga, the cool thing is that you can, in a way, you can learn with what they're doing, and you can start picking up those habits. Like I said, it's like a tool belt. You have all these tools. There's no one way to do it, and that's about it. So if you're taking notes your way, and if you're learning, then you're doing an amazing job at taking notes. So I think that's about it.
Mamma mia!